With the epic version of Desert Perpetual, Bungie added a way to unlock gear focusing for this raid. That means that you'll be able to focus and increase your drop rate of any piece of armor across the normal or epic version of the raid, and any single weapon from across these two raids as well. This just requires you to complete a quest with a series of small puzzles, but before you can get the quest, there is a prerequisite. You have to have completed the map in territory quest and set a series of collectible anchors across the normal version of the raid to complete that quest and unlock the Envoy's Togs shader. This is a quest I went over a couple of months ago. I have a video for it that is linked down in the pinned comment below and in the top right hand corner of your screen. Now, once you go ahead, you complete that quest, and then you complete the epic raid for the first time, the Statue of Maya will drop you the Atlas and Almanac quest. This requires you to return to some of the anchors that you put in the normal version of the raid, but when you return to them in the epic version of the raid, there will be small puzzles for you to complete for this quest. So I'm going to give you an example of what one of these puzzles looks like here, because really there are three general types. I do want to say that as with all new puzzles, it's kind of hard to know if we got everything exactly correct. A lot of this is we're trying a bunch of different solutions, we're brute forcing a lot of this, and there's no way to go back and test once you've completed them. So if we've made any mistakes and I need to make any corrections or any updates or anything, that will also be in the pinned comment section below. So please make sure to check that to see if there's anything that you need to do differently than what I say in this video. So this is an example of one of the puzzles that you have to do. I'm going to show you this one out of order, and then I'll go through them in order. You can see that after we kill the Hydra, we go up to this yellow tent, and there is one of the anchors that we placed in the first part of this quest. However, now it tells you that you can scan for interference, and when you do this, a series of lines appear on the ground, and these point to three Vex complex shapes that are floating around, and these seem to either be a cube, a diamond, or a pyramid. Now, for this specific type of puzzle, what you need to do is follow the lines and identify the location of the three confluxes. Two of them should be the same shape, and one of them will be an odd shape out. The first step of the puzzle is to shoot the odd shape out. So you can see behind the pillar, I had a pyramid. Then as I'm running back towards spawn, towards the left of spawn, I can see a cube. And then tucked away in this little alcove in the store, I have a second pyramid. So I shoot the cube. Then one of the two remaining shapes will also turn into a cube for me. So then I shoot that, the final shape will turn into a cube, and I will shoot that. Now, these shapes do not always look like this, like it might be two diamonds in a pyramid, for instance, and in that case, you would shoot the pyramid, and then one of the diamonds would turn into the pyramid. It also seems like for some of these puzzles, sometimes, just maybe it's RNG, I don't really know, they will all three turn into the same shape, and in that case, it seems like you can just shoot them in any order. If you fail this, or you take too long, it will reset, and then you can just return back to that anchor and reset it. The locations might change, but the general premise is exactly the same. Now, after you complete your first puzzle, it does tell you to go ahead and speak to the simulant Ansible, which is the Maya statue, but the only one that progresses the quest is after you kill the epic version of Koragos. So it really wants you to go through and complete the final boss and talk to the statue at this stage. I am pretty sure, however, you can go ahead and complete all of the puzzles on your way to the statue. So just do like a full run of the epic raid. I can't guarantee this because we did 2 of the puzzles and then completed the final boss talk to the statue to update the quest correctly, or the way that it tells you, but it did automatically progress the next step because we had already completed a second puzzle. So that leads me to believe that if you just do a full run of the raid and complete all 10 of these puzzles and then talk to the statue, it should auto-complete pretty much the entire quest for you. I will update that pinned comment if that ends up not being true. At any point in time, you can check the number of puzzles you have completed by going to the title for the raid, a temporal, and then going to the very final triumph, where they are tracking the number of anchor puzzles you have completed. So the order of these puzzles is actually very important because you can do one puzzle on the way to each boss. You can do one puzzle in each of the boss rooms after you kill each of the 3 mini bosses. And then after you do that, as you're heading back towards the center area of the raid where you kill Koragos in the normal version, there will be an additional puzzle in each boss's jump section. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Hydra boss, but you can do these in any order. So we focus for the Hydra boss. As we are heading through the jump puzzle, you will see a giant tower on the right where you placed one of the anchors in the first part of the quest. Go ahead, scan that. Some of these boxes will appear. Once again, shoot the odd one out, then shoot the next one that transforms to that same symbol, and so on and so forth. Same thing I just described. After you complete this, go ahead into the Hydra encounter, complete it, and do the one in the yellow tent that we already described. Then, as you are heading back through the jump puzzle, as you go up, there will be 3 plates floating in the sky on these kind of half circle islands. This is a slightly different type of puzzle. It works about the same way, but there's an extra caveat. So when you jump up here, there will be an anchor that you have to scan. When you scan it, we believe it activates the 3 plates on the ground, or it might do, like the plates might already be active and you can scan it for something else. It's a little unclear, but you need 1 person on each of the plates, just like you do throughout the raid. It will give you each a unique buff. Now, the name of the buff does not matter. What does matter is, once again, 3 shapes will spawn, but only 1 shape can be seen by every buff. So if you have like 1 person on every plate, only 1 person can see each shape. So after you buff on the plates, you have to very quickly look at the 3 lines on the ground and try to figure out which of the 3 shapes you can see. Your teammates have to do the exact same thing. And remember, you will never see the same shape if you are on different plates. So once all 3 people have identified the shape that they can see, once again, have the person that sees the odd shape out shoot it. One of the other 2 people's shape will transform to that shape, and then the final person's shape will transform after the second person destroys theirs. So it's the same type of puzzle, but instead of 1 person being able to do it, or everyone seeing all the shapes, only 1 specific plate buff can see a specific shape. You can have multiple people stack up on these plates, but it is pretty difficult to go 2, 2, and 2. What I would recommend doing is having 2 people on 1 plate, 2 people on another, and then having a single person hop on the 3rd plate. That way, 5 people are buffed. It seems very difficult to get 6 people to have this buff in these puzzles, but at least this way, you do have a lot of people looking for the locations of these shapes. Once again, if you take too long or you shoot them out of order, they'll despawn. You'll just have to reset all the plates and the shapes will reappear. Go ahead back to the middle area, focus for whatever boss. We're going to go ahead and do the Hobgoblin next. The first puzzle that you have to do before the Hobgoblin is found right on the right wall as you enter the main jumping puzzle area. It's an anchor, once again, that you placed before. A couple of shapes will spawn, shoot the odd one out, etc., etc. Then go ahead and kill the Hobgoblin boss, and as you turn around to look at loot and the exit, you will see the anchor off to the left as you are heading towards the exit. This is another one where you just shoot the odd one out. This one can be tricky because these cubes could spawn a lot further in the distance than you think, so I definitely recommend having on a sniper rifle. Once you complete that, leave the area, and right as you enter that traversal section again, there will be 3 plates in front of you. This is probably the most annoying puzzle because these cubes spawn all over the place and only 1 or 2 people can see each shape, so good luck. I would just run this one a couple of times. Try to, kind of identify the locations where each of the shapes spawn consistently for each person. Remember, they can spawn underneath the ribbon, kind of off to the side of the map, all the way up in little cubbies. Once you destroy the first symbol or the first shape, you do get a lot more time to find the rest of them. So if you feel like you're running out of time, just have one of the people who have identified a shape kind of gamble it. And if you get lucky and it was theirs, was actually the one to start, then that gives the, other people a lot more time to try to find their shape. But worst case scenario, you just have to restand on the plates and then they'll move location and you'll just have to try to find them in their new locations. Then head back to the center and we can go ahead and talk about the Wyvern boss. So as you are heading towards the Wyvern, off to the right side, there is one of those circles that kind of is rotating. On the inside, on a little spiral, you will see an anchor. Activate that. That is one of the, puzzles where you shoot the odd one out. Go ahead and kill the Wyvern, and then right next to the chest is going to be the puzzle for this location. Once again, another odd one out puzzle. And then as you leave this area directly in front of the stairs going into the traversal section, you are going to find another one of the 3-plate puzzles. This is puzzle number 9. This is where you can complete the last one. Now, I will have a couple notes here. I think the last one only spawned when we hit one or a couple of conditions, and I'm not really sure what all is required. We did this on a full run, so we had already killed the 3 requisite bosses, 2 Koragos, before heading to final. We also already had the 9 previous puzzles done, so both of those might be required, they might not be, but I just know for sure at different points of this raid, this puzzle had not spawned until we had this specific condition met, and I'm not sure if they're both required, but that's what we did. You should be able to do all of these in one run anyways. Before you head to the final boss, after you activate the final boss checkpoint, the 3 plates from the normal version of the raid Koragos will have spawned in the nursery, which is the central location of the raid. This puzzle is a lot more complex. You're definitely going to want to try to get 2 people on 2 of the plates. How this works is when you step on the plates, everyone will see a ton of shapes all over the place. There's like 10 or 15 of them. They're floating all over the place. Most of them will be the same shape. So you can see in my gameplay, I'm just seeing a ton of cubes floating all over the place. However, for the people that stepped on the left and the right plates, some of these will be different. So you can see one of mine is actually a diamond. This is the one you need to destroy, but only the person with the center plate buff can destroy the symbol, kind of like the mines in the normal version of Koragos. So I am just shooting the diamond that I see with my gun until Sneak, who had the center plate buff, can destroy it. So the people on the left and right see different diamonds in this scenario. Your shapes might be different, but the odd shape out for them is different. We both have one that is like the odd one out. And so I shoot the diamond until Sneak destroys it. While we are doing that process, the left plate on the far side is running around looking at all of the cubes trying to find their diamond. And then after Sneak destroys mine, one of my cubes will then also turn into a diamond. So you just kind of have to do this ping pong thing where you're constantly destroying the odd one out. I think you have to destroy like 8 of these. It seems like you have to destroy quite a few of them, and you only have a minute and a half until the plate buff kills you. So you have to be pretty fast. The good news is it seems like the shapes spawn in the same location every time, so it's pretty easy to learn them, and you just have to really get a good rhythm down. Whenever you destroy enough of these shapes, you will have completed the final puzzle. Then you can make your way through the rest of the raid and talk to the raid statue, and this should complete the quest. I believe the catalyst also comes from this quest, as said in a TWAB a couple weeks ago, but because we had automatically gotten the catalyst for completing the contest mode of the raid, I actually cannot verify this. So let me know if you did end up getting the catalyst from this quest down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. I love your faces, and I'll see you very soon. Have a great day.